welcome back to Don't Take the Box, where today we have for you a box of Sharpies. It's not my intention to make this into a review channel, but every now and then I come across something that I'm so happy or excited about that I want to talk a little bit more about it. So a while ago I got some Sharpies in a subscription box, which in itself, I know how Sharpies work. They're permanent markers, they work really well, but they're not where I live, they're not the most readily available permanent marker. But then they also gave us one of these, which is a Sharpie Ultra Fine. And I was so impressed with this. I mean, it's not like it's the best fine liner, but it worked so much better than I anticipated that I kind of fell in love with the pen. And then I wanted more of them, and then I didn't really find any in my local art or office supplies shops, or at least not very affordable. And then I came across this box, which was 25 euros, which is like, I don't know, like tops $30 or so. I still don't know whether this is actually an acceptable price, but for the amount of markers that we got, I thought, well, why not? So what I want to do is just show the colors that I got, because I'm always very excited about colors, and then talk about what I like and don't like, which is why I'm calling this a review. As a disclaimer, this is not sponsored or affiliated. I'm just really excited. So you already know that this will be a positive review, but I will try to also let you know any, or if any, of all the things that I don't like about them. So I hope this will be useful to you. And I also hope that all the colors are as lovely as they look while they're still in the box, because if they're not, I'm going to be very, very disappointed and regret not spending the money on, I don't know, more ice cream. Sorry, I'm filming this on some sort of slope, and then all the markers fall out and leave the slope. First of all, we're going to take our swatchy book. First, let's find all the fine, ultra fine points. We get one in black. Woot. Writes so well. The only drawback that this pen has above other fine liners that I also have is that it's a bit more smelly, which is what you would expect, I think, from a permanent marker. Ooh. Seems to be a little, oh, there seemed to be like a little dust fleck or speck on the nib, but it's gone now. So far, all of them are very, very juicy. And I don't know if you can see or hear me struggling with the caps, but the caps are very, very tight, which I presume is meant to keep the pens from drying out, because these have an excellent reputation for not drying out very, very quickly. But no one warns you of about the smell. I mean, everybody that I know that uses Sharpies is always super happy with them. They're never like, oh, it's just a permanent marker. They're always like very much ambassadors of the brand. But then they don't seem to mention the smell a lot, which I will continue to do throughout this video, because you must be warned about this. I like these pens a lot as well, otherwise I wouldn't be doing this review. But if you want to use them, you will have to put up with a lot of marker smell. The red seems to be a little drier. I was going to say they're also all very juicy, but the red seems a little drier. Maybe the cap wasn't put on tight enough in the factory, I don't know. Those were all the fine liners, 7 of them. I will try to put them here, but I know they will just slide off, so. Whee! Okay. Now I have to order the other ones by color. But actually, they're actually the perfect. Why do I always want to? I'm overcomplicating this. I really like these art line brushes. Boop. Onto the fine points. I already did the black. We get a little more of these. Oh. Checking the monitor, apparently this was out of view. We get 14 of these. A lot of blues and greens, which I really like. Again, the pens feel very juicy, work very well, make a lovely sound on the paper. That's my kind of ASMR thing, like the scratching of pens and pencils on paper. But again, I must warn you about the smell. They are smelly. There's no denying it, no escaping it. That sounds kind of drastic. I just want you to be aware of it, because it's not just how art supplies work. I think it's also how you work with them. A pen that is very good, very juicy, very stable, but that you can't work with, or doesn't fits well in your hand, or is too heavy, or encumbers you in any other way, is also not an art supply that you're going to use in the long run. So it's something to note and I was going to say appreciate, to be aware of, I should say. I have all too often in the past chosen something because of how it was recommended to me, only to find out that even though it worked really well, it didn't work for me. And then you end up with art supplies that you're never going to use. So, ooh. I thought this was going to be like some sort of mauve purplish, which I don't like, but it's actually a very, very nice pink. Ooh. Okay, now I'm happy again. These are all the swatches. Now, let's draw. Finish off, I'm going to quickly run some pros and cons on these pens. Stuff that I like. First of all, they're very easy to use. They're in use a little bit of a combination between a paint marker and a normal marker, in that they're very permanent, but you don't need all the shaking and pumping. You just pop off the cap and you're ready to go. Secondly, they're very durable. One of these pens I've been using for a while now, and it still doesn't show any sign of wear and tear. The nibs are very, very sturdy, and they seem to hold a lot of ink as well. They're very juicy. Thirdly, I was pleasantly surprised that I got some blending done and a lot of layering, but then I must point out that this was done on marker paper, and this would probably not work on other surfaces or other types of paper. They do work on a lot of surfaces though, which not every marker can, especially not markers intended for artwork. One of the things that I like most is the amount of colors this pen comes in. Most permanent markers usually have like a black and then maybe some blue, but this comes in 41 lovely colors that are quick to dry and have a lot of uses. As I pointed out, it's not just a marker for paper, it works on pretty much every clean surface. So yeah, a lot of good things to say about that. But there are also some minor points. First of all, for me then, price and availability. There are probably some countries where they are more readily available, but where I live, in Europe, they're kind of expensive compared to other permanent markers, and they're not, easy to find. I mean, not every art supply store or stationery or office supplies shop will even have them. So you kind of have to look out for them. Secondly, they smell a lot more than other markers that I've had. And lastly, but this is really like a minor, really minor point, is that the colors on the paper usually are a lot darker than they show up on the cap. Now, for some of the lighter colors, this is not so much of an issue because then at least you see it. But for people who tend to go off on the cap to get an exact match, you can't do that with Sharpies. But as I said, this is like really the least minor point of a negative thing that I can say about it. In conclusion, I really like them, and I will leave a link in the description, but I'm pretty sure that's not really even necessary. So I hope to see you soon. Bye!